Hey guys, Bryan Kohberger has been arrested for the murder of the 4 students in Idaho. Let's take a look at whether he can get the death penalty, whether it really would happen or not. There's a yes, no, and a maybe in this. For first-degree murder, Idaho does have the death penalty as an option. It's right there in the statute. Similar to other states, if Idaho wants to apply the death penalty, it gives notice, and then at the end of the trial, if he's found guilty, the jury will consider whether the state can prove the existence of at least one aggravating factor beyond a reasonable doubt. And one of those can be whether there was more than one murder committed. So his crime, if he's guilty of it, is certainly going to have aggravating factors. And they have to find that the jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And then the jury has to determine whether there are mitigating circumstances that outweigh the aggravating factors. And in the end, the jury has to apply the death penalty, unanimously agree to that. If they do, he can be sentenced to death. But then what happens? Idaho is finding itself in a position like several states in which the death penalty is still on the books, but it's not being applied. Idaho has not executed anyone in more than a decade, and the last execution that they wanted to attempt was the end of this year in December, but it was canceled because they cannot find the correct cocktail of drugs that they want to use from suppliers to administer the penalty. So they canceled that. That's what's going on in Indiana too. So some states have changed formulations. Some states are using other methods. Some states are basically just having a de facto end to the death penalty, at least at the present. And then it's under legal challenge whether it can be brought back or not because of the wait times on this thing are being alleged to be cruel and unusual and that sort of thing. So essentially, Idaho is in the mode of some of the other states where, yes, on the books we have the death penalty. Yes, we may go through with the penalty phase in the trial, but no one's getting executed. Now, that could change in the future, of course. They could get this formulation, or they could change the formulation or the method of penalty, but, there'll be legal challenges along the way for that. So he's not exactly staring down the barrel of a certainty of a death penalty, even if it is applied against him. That is kind of a behind-the-scenes look at how the death penalty is going on, where it's kind of on behind the doors. It's really been abolished in several of the states because they can't get the drugs that they need. And Idaho is a state where the death penalty by lethal injection is the only method they allow. They don't allow firing squad or hanging or anything else. Or electric chair. It's just lethal injection. So if they can't get the drugs that they want for that, then they don't have the death penalty and they just cancel the death warrant. So we'll see what happens with this. Certainly, if he's the guy who did it, my preference would be that he gets sent to the hereafter as quickly as due process allows. And it wouldn't bother me if he were riding the lightning, if they cut his head off, shot him, hanged him, whatever. But the only method they would use would be drugs, and they don't have those. So if he is convicted, at least the way the status quo is, he might not actually face execution to just sit in jail. Thanks, bye.